Hello and welcome back to coverage of Grand Prix Portland. We're in the finals. Only two standing. Joe Demestrio on the left versus Sam Pardee. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Zach Hill, and we have reached the end game here, Zach. And unfortunately, it's going to start off with a bit of a stumble here for Joe as he's mulliganing to 4.
4 cards, which is not where you want to be with a deck that needs to have a certain mass of both lands and spells. That's actually kind of a historic weakness of ramp decks, is that never really mulligan very well.
That's
because
right.
You just need so many resources as well as the threats to actually do something useful with them in the first place.
Mm-hmm. Now, Sam Pardee's deck is Milirapod. It's not particularly fast, though we have seen it win turn 3, turn 4. I can't remember exactly.
It certainly can be.
It can be if the pieces come together, and it's very good at finding the pieces, but if it has to find them, it'll take a few extra turns.
Right.
That said, doesn't really affect things here. As going down to 4 cards, like you mentioned, Zach, it's just a number. It's just about how much resources he has, not even what, like if he could craft the perfect hand from here, he'd still have a really hard time making something happen.
No, that's exactly right. I mean, and you know, he's something you like almost do in some occasions is to just like not play a game of Magic and like, you know, get sideboarding information that your opponent doesn't have.
Yes.
Which like Zvi was talking to us about earlier, but I can't even do that here. That said, the 4 cards that Joe draws, pretty good cards here.
Okay. It's a Forest and it's a Search for Tomorrow, so that's going to be suspended. It's going to come in a couple of turns. Sam Pardee also had a nice start. He's got a Deathrite Shaman, and now he's going to crack a Verdant Catacombs here on his second turn. That's going to give him 3 mana.
Joe does have a Pyroclasm in hand, so I mean, I think what he wants is just Sam to. I mean, he likes seeing that Temple Garden come to play untapped, and means Sam's going to cast something. But what he doesn't want to see right now is Kitchen Finks.
Or heck, a Birthing Pod, right?
Birthing Pod also definitely not exciting right here. All right, you see Spellskite, Wall of Roots. All right, and Voice of Resurgence.
A new player on the scene here, right out of Dragon's Maze. Great creature to sack to Birthing Pod. It leaves behind arguably a better creature, you know.
Yeah, right.
All right, so let's see what Joe has. He's drawn his card for the turn. He's going to play a Stomping Ground tapped. He doesn't want to use his Pyroclasm just yet.
Yeah, I mean, I think Joe realizes he's behind so many cards, he really has to leverage his Pyroclasm as much as he possibly can.
Here's a Birthing Pod, though, and it looks like it's going to get used immediately. Voice of Resurgence, Elmer hits the bin.
Elmer?
Yeah, that's his name.
That's his name?
Yeah, I'll explain later. And he gets an Elemental token.
Yes. I see.
Okay, and boom, Kitchen Finks is going to get him back up to 15 here, and he's got a pretty commanding board state, though.
So how does Pyroclasm work right here? Because for a split second, there's only 2 creatures on the board, right?
So, yeah, so what happens is when Kitchen Finks hits the graveyard, it's in the graveyard, and then a trigger goes on the stack. So at that point, the Elemental token will be a 2/2. It'll have the Wall of Roots and the token, and it'll be dead. Yeah.
Sick.
Then the Kitchen Finks will come back.
Well, might need those cards in his deck. Yeah, so I mean, Joe probably going to cast Clasm here. He could theoretically, is it charm away the Wall of Roots if he wanted to. On the other hand, probably going to try and save it for a juicier target, particularly with Pod on the table. But, you know, having your opponent not able to chain into any more Kitchen Finks would be kind of nice, actually.
Now, he could also... All right, it looks like he's just going to Pyroclasm. We'll just let him lead the way here. He clearly has a lot of options. Elemental down, trigger from Kitchen Finks, comes back in. It's going to have a -1/-1 counter on it, but it's going to gain Sam a couple of more life. He's all the way back up to 17.
So, yeah, I mean, the question is, do you kill the Wall of Roots, which also deprives him of mana? Do you kill the Kitchen Finks? Or do you just play a land, say go, and use that Is It Charm to either counter a non-creature spell or just dig?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's kind of rough to throw away cards to dig when you're already down on cards, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's we see him get rid of the wall. So at the very least, Sam has to produce another creature in order to get his pod going.
Right.
Or throw away the Kitchen Finks that's already on the table.
Right. He's going to get in there for 2 before he does anything. He's got another Birthing Pod in hand. He's also got a Spellskite.
So yeah, I would expect to see that Spellskite chained into a Kitchen Fink, but no, that's not what we're going to see.
Okay, Kitchen Fink's down. He's going to go get a 4. He's got a couple of options here.
Probably a Ranger of Eos if
Yep.
he's putting that bird to the front.
I have that similar read, so it looks like he's going to get a bird and a Viscera Seer. He's going to play the bird. Viscera Seer is going to stay in his hand, and yes, he does have a Ranger. All right, well, it looks like Joe's been able to hit his lands here thanks to that Search for Tomorrow and just hitting natural land drops. He's all the way up to 5. I think he just has 1 card in hand. Again, not a lot of resources to work with here, but, you know, if that last card's a Primeval Titan and he draws a land, like, things can turn around for him.
That is certainly true. On the other hand, Sam putting together a good chunk of his combo right here. He has the Viscera Seer. He can get Malira. And he can also get a Kitchen Finks with the Spellskite should he need to.
Mm-hmm.
And Infinite Life is good enough in this matchup, which is relevant.
Yeah, which is interesting because Joe's deck actually can do just a ton of damage, but it can't do 300 trillion.
Can't do 300 trillion.
Right,
yeah,
which is the number of choice for the weekend. Yeah. We actually had it earlier. For those of you that weren't with us earlier in the weekend, we had 300 trillion up in the life total there. It was kind of cool.
So, yeah, we are going to see, I believe, that is a Malira.
Okay, and we know that he's got Viscera Seer as well.
And, you know, he might just see a Spellskite to try and protect that Malira from an Is It Charm or from a...
Also, the Spellskite can turn into the Infinite Life that we just mentioned.
That's exactly right.
Thanks to the Birthing Pod next turn.
Okay, so we're seeing a Scalding Target cracked, and, yeah, just passing the turn for Sam.
He can just do it all in one turn anyway.
He certainly
doesn't
can.
open himself up to Pyroclasm or something.
Well, sort of. I mean, like, Spellskite's not going to get Clasm. This gives Joe a turn to Is It Charm Malira if that's exactly what he wants to do.
Okay, yeah. All right, so let's see what he has. He's got a Scalding Tarn, but he just passes a turn back.
Yeah.
I don't know what his last card in hand is. He's at 11 life. He's taking 5 here. Things are going to start getting kind of sketchy for him just on the damage front. Along with,
he's down to 6 from just attacks.
Yeah, because Sam also is busy starting to set up a combo.
And now we see the Spellskite. So if Joe had an Is It Charm, he would need to use it in response. Probably would have used it at, you know, so as to avoid taking 2 damage.
Yeah, on his own turn or when the attack happened. All right, Spellskite down.
And this is it.
Yep.
We'd expect.
We see a black mana sitting there available for the Viscera Seer, and that's going to allow Sam to gain as much life as he wishes. I can't really hear how much.
Yeah, okay. And Joe picking up his cards, drawing an extra card. I mean, can't be, you know, he really put up a pretty good fight for mulliganing to 4 cards.
He really did.
I mean, on the other hand, he's got to want to play 2 real games of Magic.
That's right, and he did not get to do that in the first game. So the next 2 games are going to be sideboarded here. We've got some upcoming webcasts for you to check out as well. Pro Tour Dragon's Maze is this coming weekend.
Yeah,
it's next weekend. We're going to be there. You and I, Zach. Rashad's going to be there too, bringing you all the action Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. After that, Grand Prix Providence, June 8th and 9th. That is a team sealed event. I'm going to be there covering that one. And then on the European side, same weekend, Grand Prix Gothenburg is on June 8th and 9th as well. I don't know the format for that one.
I'm surprised to hear you're covering that, Marshall. I figured, team format, you might be trying to put team limited resources together.
One of my teammates decided that he wanted to work at Wizards instead of playing the GP with me. So, yeah. I was going to play in it. We had it all planned out.
Such poor Lauxian timing.
I agree. We had it all planned out, but the guy's got to do what he's got to do. All right, let's take a look at the bracket. This is kind of sort of the road to the finals here. Joe Demestrio got by Mattia Ricci and Scapeshift Mirror, but a different deck. I mean, these decks were much different. Joe's being more potent, but Mattia's having the ability to defend against more things through counterspells and blue stuff. And then he beat Svi Moshowitz in the semis. Svi, great run this weekend. I mean, casually shows up as a Hall of Famer here at the GP and just, makes top 4 like you do. That put Joe in the finals. On the other side of the bracket, D-Mac, Dan McDonald, and his Malira pod got by Ori Guo. Must have just ground him out. We didn't get to see much of that match. But he did have to play against Sam Pardee in the semis, and as you know, Sam got by him in the Malira pod mirror. That was a pretty nice match that we got there, setting up our finals. So players, as you can see, are looking at pieces of paper. Those are deck lists for each other. They're allowed to examine deck lists, and that's going to give them perfect information about what the possibilities are, though it does not give them perfect information about what their opponent's actually doing. This creates kind of an interesting thing, because normally you make your best guess at what your opponent's going to try to do post-sideboard. In this case, though, you know what they could do, and they know what you could do, and there's this leveling game that can come out of it.
I'll tell you, if I'm Joe, I actually want to side out my Prismatic Omens. Like, Pardee has access to Abrupt Decay, and the only target for Abrupt Decay,
I think he has Harmonic Sliver,
he does.
and
Kasali Pride Mage
too. Yeah,
and the only targets for those are your Prismatic Omens.
Oh,
They're
really?
Sort of sitting there like a sore thumb. Yeah, I mean, what are you going to do? Target Sakura Tribe Elder? So I like taking those out. You've got Graph Digger's Cage, which still gets hit by the same cards, which is just totally devastates your opponent's board. You've got a Fire Spout if you want it, which we saw the mass removal, very, very effective. I actually like Remand.
Okay.
Because Remand's just good against mid-range decks. You have a lot of expensive cards like Birthing Pod coming down for Pardee, and Is It Charm.
Okay.
Is It Charm kills all of Pardee's relevant cards, can also deal with a Chord of Calling or a Birthing Pod.
Okay.
You might want to try and find room for a Dismember, just because the spot removal is so effective against Pardee trying to assemble his combo together.
Or keeping him off of mana creatures.
Right, exactly. So I might not bring in the fourth Remand. I might take out an Obstinate Ballast. I mean, Obstinate Ballast is not terribly exciting in this format.
No.
And not in this format. It's very exciting in this format, not exciting in this matchup. On the other end, from Pardee's side, I think you just want to rip your opponent's hand apart with Thoughtseize.
How many does he have on the board?
He has 4 copies on the sideboard.
Oh, my goodness.
None of the rest of his cards. Dismember, not exciting. Lingering Souls, not really where you want to be against an opponent with this many mass removal spells. I mean, it's okay because you get to flash it back, but it means you have to take out a combo piece, and its clock is not very fast. You remember, Joe could just kill you with Primeval Titan or with Scape Shift.
That's right.
I think even Mind Sensor pretty effective against both Scape Shift and Primeval Titan. Probably worth having 1 copy in the deck. And I could see bringing a Voice of Resurgence just as resilience against all this burn that Joe's throwing your way.
Okay.
In terms of what he takes out, I mean, I could see him leveling him, realizing that Joe might side out his Prismatic Omens and taking out Pardee's own Voices of Resurgence. Beyond that, it's really hard to say. I mean, the deck is kind of a well-oiled machine. I might take out some number of Birds of Paradise. Like, you really want exactly 1 mana creature. You don't want a draw with like 3 of them just asking to get Pyroclasm.
Right.
Spellskite, not really doing a whole lot. Kasali Pride Mage, not doing a whole lot. Wall of Roots, playing no defense, although it's a decent mana creature that survives a Pyroclasm. But and Orzhov Pontiff all Pardee, probably close to blank. So that at least is a very easy cut.
Okay. Joe Demestrio on the play here. Hopefully we're going to get a chance to see what his deck can do, as he did mulligan to 4 in the first game. And that makes it hard to win no matter what deck you're playing and no matter who you are.
I think Joe essentially just wants to keep a hand of cards right now.
Yeah, probably the goal. All right. I think he has a 2-land Farsi can with a Primeval Titan.
Hard to argue with that. Yeah, he's got Is It Charm to disrupt his opponent as well.
Yes, and I think he has Steam Vents Forest as well. Yep. All right, he's going to keep it. There's a Steam Vents. Sam Pardee kept his hand too, so this could be it. If Sam wins this game, this GP is done, and Sam will be your champion. If not, we're going to get a game 3.
Yeah, and so Sam immediately cracking the Misty Rainforest, signaling strongly the turn 1 mana accelerant.
That's right. He's got so many of them in the deck.
You can see either a Bird of Paradise or a Deathrite Shaman. Bird of Paradise, semi-relevant in that it's slightly harder to Fire Spout away.
True.
But that very unlikely to come up, given that Joe also plays green in his deck.
All right, he drew a Remand for the turn. This is interesting. I don't know if he has another land drop, but do you just sit back on Remand if you don't have a land drop?
I think you have to Farseek here. You've got
Okay.
an Izzet Charm in your hand that you actually can't cast right now.
Okay.
Because both your blue and red sources are in the same steam vents. So I think you have to Farseek. I mean, you also just hope that you draw a land naturally. Can Izzet Charm either the Bird of Paradise or another threat while representing Remand mana, which kind of puts you in a commanding position. I think
Okay.
you just have to go for it and say, all right, Sam, you've got one turn to do whatever you want.
Okay. Looks like he's really deep in the tank about which land he should go get here.
All right, yeah, I mean, he doesn't even have his deck in his hands.
It cannot be.
Cannot
It
be a
needs to be
basic
blue
forest.
or red.
Yeah,
right.
right.
And that's a little interesting because we do know he has a Primeval Titan too. Now, you got to have some faith in your deck that you're gonna get there at some point. Plus, he can just there he is. So he's gonna get a stomping ground.
It is relevant again, we saw against Affinity, bringing in
Get a
Blood
breeding
Moon.
pool.
Actually, very relevant that you can't get basic forest with Farseek.
Yeah.
Because you might want 2 green mana for your Primeval Titan through a Blood Moon. Farseek says, "Sorry,
No.
that is exactly
That's
what
the
I
one
do
we
not
don't
get."
do. Yeah. Took that day of school off, and I don't know how to do it. All right, Thoughtseize for Sam Pardee reveals, wow, Scapeshift double
Juice.
Primeval Titan Remand and an Izzet Charm.
What you definitely don't take here is Primeval Titan, I think.
Right. So does that mean Scapeshift is the next stop on this train or not? I mean, it's not like Scapeshift is doing anything for quite a while.
I think you take Izzet Charm.
Okay.
Like, you just remove your opponent's ability to disrupt you. You don't walk into Remand. Remand does draw him into more lands, though. But I think you take Izzet Charm and just say, sweet, I get to keep my bird around. I get to play a Viscera Seer. On the other end, you still can't just throw everything onto the table because, your opponent has 4 Pyroclasms and a Fire Spout.
Ooh, and a Thoughtseize to follow up.
Getting the Remand, Joe just puts it in the graveyard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all Joe needs to do right now is just draw lands.
Yes. He's got the most powerful spells in his deck in his hand. Unfortunately, they cost quite a bit of mana. I mean, even if he draws one land, it's not going to get him anywhere yet.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I mean, in one land, what are you going to do? You're not going to cast Scapeshift.
No, not doing that one.
So, yeah, pretty devastating Thoughtseizes from Sam. On the other hand, Sam at 10 now. So Joe might want to kind of hope he has his Obstinate Ballot still in because he could represent a pretty substantial clock.
Start
All right, here we go. Joe, unfortunately, no way to ramp into 2 mana at once. It could be Ranger's Path or something, but not quite in either the deck or the format.
Sam Pardee down to 9 life here. But with a lot of momentum going forward as he knows exactly, he has perfect information on his opponent's hand, and he knows that his opponent isn't doing anything for a while.
And just casting Revelark to present a 4/3 flyer. I mean, the thing is, when you dilute your deck with Thoughtseizes, etc., it's harder to assemble your combo.
That's right.
On the other hand, you still just attack and block.
I think that he drew an Izzet Charm.
Yeah, I think you just got to fire off an Izzet Charm right now. Say
here.
whatever is to these Scapeshifts and just get some lands.
Pyroclasm, that's a reasonable start.
All right, yeah, so what do you discard? I think
you
probably just discard Remand and one of those Scapeshifts. And
well, he's only got 1 Scapeshift. He's got 2 Primeval Titans.
Sorry, one of the Primeval Titans.
Uh-huh.
You definitely keep 1, but I mean, what you want right now is Mountain Pyroclasm. That is very good for you.
And he has a Pyroclasm. Is that last card a red mana source?
I think it is. I think he drew a Mountain.
Okay, let's see.
Not positive of that. But yeah, I mean, you just need lands.
There it is. Mountain Pyroclasm. All right, so that's going to take out 2 of the creatures here. Sure, he can get him back if the Revelark dies, but getting rid of the Deathrite Shaman's nice. And if you look, Sam's only got 3 lands.
Right.
It's not like he has ultimate flexibility here with his mana. It's going to limit him to
so
2 things per turn in this case, but the Spellskite not doing a whole lot on this board, and really neither is a Viscera Seer.
No, exactly. I mean, you can sack Revelark to get back the cards that he Pyroclasmed away, but that means you're not hitting him for 4 every turn.
So I mean, for 1 or 2.
Joe really needed that Izzet Charm.
Yes, he really did, and now he is 1 land away from that first Primeval Titan.
Once
that gets rolling, the
oh
swings.
Wow!
What did he get?
Wow, he got the discarding that Primeval Titan.
nasty.
Yeah, I mean, like you've got to get rid of that Primeval Titan when you're discarding it as a charm. You can't really expect a third Thoughtseize.
Right.
But right now, I mean, you're going to cast the Pyroclasm, but really you don't have a lot right now.
Yep, you just got to cast
That was a
Pyroclasm.
devastating Thoughtseize from Sam.
And he's drawn a Steam Vents here.
And gonna
And
scry
he
twice.
almost is he gonna play it?
Don't
you just keep it in your
think
hand?
So. I mean, but like on the other end, the 2 life could be very relevant right here. Yeah, I think
that's
you just
true.
cast it.
Like if he draws Primeval Titan and then he can't cast it, he's like super
right.
embarrassed. All right, down to 7 here for Joe. These are critical draw steps as Sam moves closer to a GP title here.
All right.
It is a search for tomorrow. He's in a search of a Primeval Titan, not tomorrow.
So, I mean, he does have 7 lands, meaning that Escape Shift does something
Yes.
if he's able to draw one. And down to 3
His Escape
for
Shift
Joe.
kills Sam.
Oh,
If he
because
has all
Sam's
the
at
stuff.
7.
Sam's at 7 after.
Wow.
That's 3.
What are we going to see? It is that Escape Shift.
That's
That's
it.
a remand. And that
It's
is
over.
the Grand Prix.
Sam Pardee defeats Joe Demestrio in the finals here, 2-0 with Melirapod. And he is our champion here from Portland. Woo!
Man, so
That was some good
local
stuff.
finish does. All right, yeah.
Yep, Sam's from. Is he going to come over and chat with me? All right,
All right. I'll get
There
out.
he
I
is.
want to talk to the man himself.
we're over here. Here, you can. Yeah, he is. All right, so you sit here, and then this goes like that on the back of your head. Yep,
Okay.
perfect. You did it. All right, we got him.
Solved it.
They're going to bring the thing in. They're listening to us. Hey, everybody. Marshall Sutcliffe, Sam Pardee, congratulations,
Thank
man.
you very
nice
much.
work. You just won a GP, sir.
Yeah.
So,
feels good.
so somebody on Twitter said, and I wasn't aware of this, you had gotten second at GP Toronto. Is that correct?
Yeah, I lost to Willie Adel. I was playing the same deck, like 4 cards different or so.
Okay, and then you had a nice run at the Mox tournament,
Yeah, I also won a PTQ with this deck.
and you won a
also, yeah.
PTQ as well. Okay, so why don't you tell us a little bit about this deck and why you like it so much?
Well, it started with GP Chicago. I started testing for it. I'd been testing for Pro Tour Seattle. I played Jund, hated it, had a miserable time.
Okay.
I had played this deck the last PTQ season. I picked it up, made some changes. I added another Murderous Redcap to help deal with Deathrite Shaman, and Jund was super popular, and you could just grind them out with Gavany
Yes.
Township, Lingering Souls.
Yep.
That was the plan. And then I feel like I got proficient with it. I've cashed 100 daily events with it on Moto, like actually 100.
man.
So I've probably played 150 daily events.
Yeah, it's incredible because, I noticed just from watching you play it, like your actions are crisp. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly when to do stuff. Like you had no hesitation in any of your plays.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I feel like I know the deck inside and out. And Voice of Resurgence, that was actually me and Matt Nass were talking about it, playing the same 75. We felt like there should have been a 4th, but we couldn't figure out exactly where to fit it in, and that card was really, really good.
Is it really awesome
It's
in the deck?
so good. I triggered it once on my, I only got 1 creature from my opponent casting a spell on my turn.
Was it because he didn't know? Or did
No,
he
he
have
knew.
to do it?
He just had to do it.
Yeah,
But one time the whole tournament I got a creature for that way, and it was still the best card in my deck.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what was the best part about it? Is it the creature it leaves behind when you sack it, or is it the fact that it limits what your opponent can do on your turn?
It's both. It was amazing at they can't Liliana Edict me because I'm going to get this 5/5 off of it.
Uh-huh.
And also I could pod, I podded it away and left like an 8/8 behind to just get them with.
Okay.
And also with Lingering Souls post board, it gets
Yes.
huge.
That's awesome. Now, you've taken this thing down. Are you qualified? Yeah, you were qualified because of the Mox, right?
No, I won a PTQ for San Diego.
Oh, you won a PTQ?
And
the
then
Mox is for Dublin?
Well, it was, but now I'm qualified.
Now you're
for,
qualified
yeah.
for this, so maybe we can push it back.
Yeah, maybe
again
we'll
or
just roll
whatever.
it back some more. That'd be fine with me.
And you're with Team Panic from Channel Fireball.
No, we're not really doing the panic thing this
the
time
team
around.
formerly known as Team
Yeah,
Panic.
I'm testing with Jacob Wilson, Jesse Hampton, Christian Calcano,
Okay.
and a couple other people from California who are qualified.
I'm going to let you go because I know you got a bunch of friends out there waiting for you, but I want to know best card of your deck.
It'd have to be Birthing Pod.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
All right, Sam, congratulations.
Thank you
You
very
did a
much.
great job, and you are the champion. Okay, guys, we've had a very long weekend. It was a good fun one, though, right, Rashad? He's nodding. He says, yes, it was fun. But we're ready to go for Zach Hill, who's no longer in the booth with me, Rashad Miller. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. Make sure you check out the Pro Tour next week. Thanks for hanging out with me all weekend, and we'll see you soon.